What we'll do is we're gonna roll into each department, and kind of let these guys get up, and I don't wanna talk for them, so they're gonna talk.
And so I'd just like to ask a general question. The way things are looking here, we should be able to move for the reports on a monthly basis being more variance-oriented than just reporting.
You know, and that's one of the things I still have a problem with, is the way we kind of present things, because they're really convoluted, they're all over. I think we need to present things on variance, I like to look at percentages, and so and Karina's working real hard. There's certain couple things got in her way, budgets and some other things, but she's working really hard on getting some things, and she's working on some things we'll look at and see if it's one, and then we'll present to you guys and see exactly what you want. You know, what you need to see, because right now we're throwing a lot of information up, and that's one of the things we wanted to clear up that front page. There's a lot of information on there, and you can get lost in it. So I think if we simplify things, report on variances, report on percentages, I think it'll help us all. And it'll actually help folks watching to understand a little better.
Well, again, kudos to everybody involved in this process, because this appears to be headed exactly where we wanted it to, particularly from a reporting standpoint, so thank you.
And you know, we'll keep I think it's one of those things, we keep working together, we work as a team, and there's certain things we're gonna, you know, you're gonna wanna see different, we're gonna change them and adapt to them. But I think the number one thing is to get it out there in a very clear picture, so it's very transparent, you understand exactly where things are, so.
It just won't be this board meeting.
Yeah.
Pardon?
It just won't be this board meeting. I haven't had a chance to change anything yet. Okay, so administration, he kind of went through it. That does include all of our admin, our IT, and our HR. Obviously, we are mainly service-oriented sectors. Do you want to see the detail on it, or are you guys okay with this and we can move on to permitting and inspections and compliance and so forth?
Tom? You okay with
Yeah,
that?
I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
Okay. I know we're kind of on a deadline here, so I will let them jump.
Yeah, this is
in.
only a 3-hour movie.
So we've got Stephanie and her people. You tell me where you want me to go?
We'll just stay right there for now. Hi. How's everybody today? Because this is exciting stuff. Just make sure you're not asleep up there. So I am going to talk about the Innovation Division. I don't know if that's going to say its name. I suspect probably not. But this does compile or comprise permitting, inspections, compliance, the gates, marketing, and tourism. That's what you'll see within this division. And we're going to do very, very high overview. You'll notice that we've reduced full-time employees by 4, part-time employees by 2. Our revenue is forecasted to increase slightly. That is not because of any additional fees. In fact, we have elected to keep fees all static in permitting. We had a pretty significant increase last year, if you recall, and so just did not feel that there was a good justification to increase fees for 2021 in that area. But the reason the increase is because we are seeing a trend in more permits, new homes, new construction, and that's where that's going to come from. In operating expenses, you'll see a significant increase, and that is because we did move gates into this division. Gates were previously in the public.
They were in PD.
PD, thank you. And so that's all of it. The big increase is just the Allied Barton contract. You'll see move about $617,000. I don't know if we want to go through each of the little categories.
Is the, regarding gates, is the cost of, from our contractor going up appreciably? How much is that?
We don't have an increase at this time. There is no increase. We're actually in fact, we're on a kind of a month-to-month basis with them, so we're exploring the idea of going back out to bid and just testing that market,
Yeah.
as well as looking at some hybrid opportunities for maybe some in-house work, some outsourced labor. So it would be difficult for us to take it all on right now. We've done some research, we have some numbers on what that looks like, but again, staffing, as he mentioned, just like with F&B, it's tricky to get that fully staffed up to the level that it would need to be and us maintain it right now. So we're looking at that, but I think there's ways that potentially we could save some money and do a little bit of a hybrid model between the two.
When you look at staffing,
Mhm.
that's a very large decrease in headcount. Are we looking at apples to apples, or why the large decrease in headcount?
We are, this does not show, let's see, one of the,
We closed CD 70, which was one of our departments, CD,
so some of the staff reductions were included in this before, that we've done so far this year. So lot sales, right, CD 70 was lot sales and acquisitions.
Okay,
Yeah, there's a couple areas where we've lost some staff.
okay. The other thing is, when you look at the difference in headcounts and the difference in compensation, they really don't line up. I realize that there's a lot of timing differences, and you might have to go down to month by month to figure that out,
So-
but it just looks funny.
This also brings, I don't know how you merged these departments, so it's different for me, because we aren't really, we are comparing apples to apples, I guess, because you brought like over
I
like.
pulled them over. The difference, so you guys, what you see for the approved employee count from 2020
Mhm.
was what was approved in the budget. That didn't account for any changes that have taken place from October or November of 19
Okay.
through now.
Or vacancies that were
So
never
it's
filled.
not actual, it's
It was
what was in the
approved
budget? Okay,
piece, so.
so, right, okay.
And this includes marketing as well, which was not in this division before, right?
Yes, which I pulled that down.
Okay.
I combined it with CD 50.
You want to jump into each? There's really very little to to talk about in each one of these, but we can do that. We'll start with the admin section of it. You can see there's no capital, there's really no, the only real big expense there you see is GIS. And we have an annual where they do drone fly over the village and take new imagery. And that's what that $7,000 is for. And in fact, that's half the cost of that service. The other half is allocated to Public Works or Public Services, I don't know which one, but one of those. That's really the only thing in this division that you'll see of note. So CD 40 is actually compliance and permitting. This was separated before. Again, very, very little really to report the fines and permit fees and things like that. We have a full spreadsheet that shows you specifically how we got to each one of those numbers, how many roof permits we expect, how many landscaping permits we anticipate, how many new homes, et cetera. But that's how you get to all those numbers in the revenue category there. Wages, again, pretty static. We reduced that number by a bit.
Stephanie, what's the new building permits, what number is that based on?
75. We're at 60 right now in 2020 through October, through today. In fact, I checked it today. Yeah, so, right, so you'll see in the computer software, there's an allocation of almost $17,000. That's our citizen serve software that we use to do all of our permitting, inspections, compliance work is all done through that. As well as our marketing software, our customer relation management system that we use, CRM system. So you'll see that's that 16.9, is that right?
Yes, these were some of the expenses that we allocated this year. This previously was in IT's budget, so it's not new expenses. We're just putting them respectively where they belong. So that's where some of these jumps are coming from.
Yeah. The other big one you'll see down there, of course, is that $617,040, that's the Allied Barton contract for gate oversight.
That's what?
Allied Barton is the gate contract,
okay.
the third-party gate. Insurance contract, I mean, there's really nothing else big in that one. Jump into tourism and marketing.
Yeah, that's this one.
Yeah. So So the only income here you'll see is the real estate partner program. And this is based on the assumption that we continue on with the program as it is today. And we're still kind of looking at that for 2021. And then the discovery packages, I don't want anyone to get excited about that being a giant revenue number. First of all, it's not giant, but any revenue number, because there's an offsetting expense that takes it right back out. So the revenue to the marketing and tourism division is minimal. Really, it's really just that real estate partner program is the only thing that funnels revenue to that division. Wages reduced a bit. What is that? Which column are you
Wages
in the
are
budget?
260.
Yeah, 216. So
They're down.
we reduced wages quite a bit in that area. And then in expenses, same thing, there's those allocations for computer software, contracts, the contracts line, the 133.5 is our sales agency, plus some freelance work and graphic design, some of those skill sets that we don't have in-house come out of that. Going down to the $250,000 in public relations, advertising, and publications. That is our media buy, which is reduced a bit from this year. I think this year we were at 290, what were we, 262? Yeah,
That's the budget, yeah.
yeah, 262 was our budget. So a little bit reduced from what we had in 2020 in our media spend. That's all of our digital, our magazines, radio, television, anything that we do in terms of just outside media buy. And that is it.
And number of discovery packages this was based on?
115, I believe.
115?
Yeah, I'll double check that. I believe it's 115 though, Lloyd. I do. I think that's very conservative also. We were thinking in terms of COVID, but I think we've already hit that number for this year, even with COVID. So where we were budgeted this year for 75 and hit over the 100 mark. Any other questions?